Welcome to the Craft of Coaching podcast, where we dive into what it truly takes to become a skilled, confident life coach. I'm your host, Kate, head of the CLCC, or Certified Life Coach Collective, an ICF-Accredited Level 1 coach training program. We combine courage, coaching, and community to offer you more than just a training program, but a life-changing experience where you use your own personal transformation as the learning ground for supporting your clients. On this podcast, we explore how you can use coaching skills to support your clients or expand your own growth, all grounded in evidence-based coaching practices. Learn more about our program and get free resources for becoming a life coach at teamclcc.com. And now, here's today's episode.
We're going to talk about why you as a life coach should not quit. Should not quit. So this is a good one that you want to maybe note somewhere, download to your device, because if you are deciding to become a life coach, there are going to be times where you're going to want to quit. This is something that I find kind of funny, actually, about the Courageous Living Coach certification. I'm the director of the program, and we always start off with an in-person retreat in Sonoma County each year. And we only run one training program a year, always start off with this retreat. So we've got this retreat, right? And, I do this thing that probably marketers would say, don't do that, but I do it. And it is, I tell people, at some point, you're going to want to quit. Yeah, I know. Let that digest. I tell people who have joined the Courageous Living Coach certification at some point, you're going to want to quit. The reason that I do this is because I see so many things out there that just market coaching as this sparkly adventure. You're going to make money sitting in your pajamas. And people don't always talk about the fact that this is a business just like any other. And I have these conversations with people. Every single person who joins our program has to have a one-on-one phone call with a member of our team. And this is not a sales call. You have all the information about what our program costs and all the things that go into the training before you ever get on the phone with us. It's this is just a call to answer your questions. And if somebody starts talking about, well, how soon before I'll start making money, we're really honest with people about that. And by the way, there's Craft of Coaching episodes where we talk about life coach salaries and the realities of running a business and stuff like that. And I get into more of a deep dive with that topic there. But we're really upfront about the fact that this is a business like any other. And especially in the initial few years, it's really hard. Yeah, it's actually really hard. You're trying to figure out, first of all, the coaching skill set, which can bring up stuff for people. You're going to have good sessions and you're going to have bad sessions. You're going to have sessions where you're like, what was that? That didn't feel good. And you're going to have other sessions where you're going to have the coaching high and you're going to be like, oh my God, I love coaching. It's so great. I want to do it every day, And then you're going to have times where the sessions are great, but for whatever reason, you just feel kind of meh. You're going to have times where you feel like you've got way too much to do and it all feels like it's barreling down on top of you. And how are you going to juggle all the things you're trying to juggle? You are going to have times where you are distinctly and profoundly questioning why you ever wanted to be a coach in the first place. And here's what's really common in those moments is, your little inner critic will be sitting there waiting for a moment like this. And go check out episode 34 on embracing the inner critic if you want a little help with that. But your inner critic will be sitting there waiting for a moment like this to go, see, I told you. No career seems to make you happy, and you did all that work to go to coach training and learn about marketing, and then now look, you can't make the money you need to make, and you don't know what you're doing, and that was a bad client session, and. I got to tell you, one of the lowest moments that I had when I was first getting started, and with my own practice, I decided that I was going to, I did what so many coaches do, what in our program we do not recommend doing. I did the whole thing where very shortly after finishing my training and everything, I went, I don't want to do coaching part-time. I want to do it full-time. I'm going to quit my salaried job and I'm going to go out for myself as a coach. And I mean, the only thing limiting my income is that I don't have more hours in the day because I'm working this salaried job. And if I just don't have the salaried job in my way anymore, I will walk out, I will be a coach, I will, I'll make so much money. That's how I was thinking of it. I'll have 8 full hours a day to work with clients. 8 times $100 an hour times 5 days a week. I will be rolling in the money. This is what I thought, right? So I go out there going, this is what I'm going to do. And of course, because it was a brand new business and nobody knew who I was and I was just starting out and all the things, I didn't have a ton of clients. Now, I have always had clients my entire practice if I wanted them. I currently am not taking on one-on-one clients because I end up doing coaching for trainees in the CLCC. And there are so many other things that take up my time with that. But I'm doing coaching in other ways, basically. So I'm not even taking on private clients right now. But anytime I've ever wanted to take on private clients, I have had them. And but I wasn't having enough clients. I didn't have enough clients in those early days to pay all of my bills. And I had put a little bit of money in savings, but not enough to really build myself a runway and get going. And in a moment of desperation, there was this marketing person who Forbes had named like a top marketing person. And I signed up I put the last room I had on my credit card to have a session with her because I was like, that's what it is. I need to be better at marketing. Well, let me tell you something about this session. This chick. Oh dear. So we're meeting via Skype. Okay. Well, first of all, the problems started before we even got on Skype. She had a scheduler that I was auto-directed to, and it had no available times. And so there was some note in the confirmation email, you need to make sure you book your session within a week because, I can't, have you paying. It was like something about how she didn't want a bunch of people to pay to work with her and then have a pile of sessions. She kind of wanted to get them done within a certain time frame. When I was a new coach, I was just very oh, okay, I'll do that. Now I kind of look at that and I'm going, well, hold on a second. If I had to use this within a certain time frame, ethically, you owe it to me to tell me that before I give you my money. You don't get to take my money and then go, well, you have to use it within a certain time frame. The terms have to actually be discussed. So I go and I'm all right, I'll work with that. So she doesn't have any time availability. And there was something about the scheduler she had where it's she had to confirm with me that she had the appointment time available. So I had to somehow sign up for the time, but that she said, I'll confirm with you if this time does work with me. Super complicated, right? You'd think that if she said she was available, she'd be available. So I sign up for a time and I don't hear anything back from her. And in fact, I email her and I say, hey, I signed up for this time on this date. Are we going to have the session? I don't hear anything back from her. So I'm like, okay, the session must not be happening. That day, I get an email from her later in the day, or a couple days later on the day of the session that we had scheduled. I get an email from her and she's going, where were you? And I'm like, what do you mean, where was I? I thought we were, you said that we had to confirm everything with me. You never confirmed. Here's the email I sent you. And at first she kind of did this number of well, I'm sorry, but you paid for the session and you didn't show up for it. And I'm sitting here but I tried to show up for it, but you didn't confirm the time with me. I sent a follow-up email just in case you didn't confirm the time with me. Okay, so she treats it then like she's doing me this big favor by rescheduling, okay? And again, I want to remind you, I have no more salaried job. I have just used the last of my money to book what is for me a very expensive consult with a marketing person, the last of the credit card room to book with a very expensive person. Okay, she's open to a different time. We book for a different time. Great. I get onto Skype at the appointed time. I double check and I triple check that my speakers are ready to go and my internet connection is good. I double check and I triple check that I am showing status as green, available. Nothing. She's not there. I send her an email. Hey, are you there? I send a Skype chat. Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm here, 8 minutes into the session, she's not there. And then suddenly, strangely, I get an email from her that pops up onto my screen, even though I'm sitting there right on Skype, and she's going, "Where are you?" Well, I'm sitting right here on Skype, lady. So it turns out that she had her status on Skype set to some kind of setting that made her invisible to other people unless she wanted to be visible. That's why I couldn't see her. I mean, I'm sitting here, I got a green light and everything. I am here, I am following up, I am at the appointed time. She gets on the phone with me. First thing she says to me is, well, we're going to have to cut this session a little bit short because it didn't start on time. Unbelievable, right? And at that point, again, I'm a new coach. Like everything you're hearing in my voice now is, the work of boundaries and growth. And there's no way I would tolerate that behavior now. But at that time, it was this person was recommended in an article by Forbes as a top marketing consultant, and I don't know what I'm doing, and she knows what she's doing, and I have to, learn the marketing things from her because otherwise I won't make money, and I don't, and I'm panicking. So we get into this session. Chickadee has not reviewed my website at all. She says, tell me what it is that you do again. Tell me, and I filled out the pre-session questions that were automatically sent to me. I sent them back to her. What's your website again? And the whole time it's this tone like she just can't believe that she has to deal with this session. She just can't believe she has to take the time. And people, right? I've been a coach for a long time. I'm all about watching what you make it mean. And I'm not stupid. I know when someone's talking to me in a way that's just really condescending and I don't have time for you, you little fly, shoo, fly. It was very well, what's your website again? Well, what's your actual message? That's how she's talking to me in this way. She just can't believe that I'm so clueless. And I, again, being a new coach, I'm completely intimidated. And only in hindsight and many years later am I going, well, of course I didn't know what my messaging was. Of course, that's why I hired you. This is why I was hiring you. Well, she was this way during the whole session, and I do have a backbone. And at some point, as the session began to wind down, we began to get to our time limit, it occurred to me that I really didn't like how she was talking to me. And I really was, she was just talking to me about, stuff that just was none of it was targeted to me. It was well, you need to rework your sales page, I think, because right now the way it's looking, it's just not really pulling in a client because you got to get your messaging secure. And it's just coming at me really fast. What is going on? Well, 1 minute before the session was scheduled to end, even though it had started late, suddenly the Skype connection drops. Doesn't drop on my end. It drops on her end. I try ringing her back. Instead of picking up, she texts me back and says, well, since the session was ending anyway, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. And I hope that was helpful. She just says some little boilerplate thing. Well, the first thing I did, if you really want to know, is I cried. I cried. I felt like a chump. I felt like I'd been used. I felt like somebody had taken my money and just really used me, just did not care about my business that I cared about so much. I felt like a chump. I felt hurt. I felt scared. I didn't know how I was going to pay bills. I knew I was in over my head, quitting my salaried job sooner than I should have. And I tried calling my husband, and he was in a meeting, so he couldn't really talk. But I cried for a minute, and then it gave way over to fury because I was pissed, because something was kicking in for me that this was not okay, that I personally would never treat one of my own clients this way. I would never treat a client this way, even if the client had been really inept about scheduling and made all the technological mistakes themselves. I would never treat a client this way. I would never get on the phone with a client and treat them like they were a bug that I just wanted to flick away, and they were so inconsequential to me, and I couldn't believe that they were deigning to take my time. It's just, Ugh, you can hear it in my voice, right? I was pissed. Whew, deep breath. But I was righteously pissed. I was pissed in a way where like the anger was holy. And I left my house and I remember taking a walk that day and taking one of those kind of walks where it's like you're marching. And I remember deciding, and sort of like this being my prayer up to the universe at large, that you know what? Here's the learning experience I'm going to take away initially. 1, I did not deserve to be treated that way. 2, I will never treat a client that way. 3, that person is a joke, and I will be so much more discriminating about who I hire. It will not just be because a magazine named them that I will go, oh, they must have clout. Somebody has to actually demonstrate integrity to me before I will hire them. Point blank, end of story. I am never tolerating this again. That's where I went with that. And it was fierce. And it was holy. So why am I telling that story? Sorry if it was a little long and you're like, why is she telling this story? I'm telling you this story so that you really understand that I know what it's like to be down to your last dime and have no room on the credit card and then get screwed over by some marketing person who is a total hack and gives you no value. Okay? I understand what it is like to have really hard days where you don't know what the hell you're doing, you don't know who can help you, you don't know where the money's coming from. I know what it's like also, by the way, to be on the flip side. The money does not fix everything. To be up against 10 deadlines, have contractors invoicing you saying, I need my money, money's flying out the door, things still don't feel like they're getting done, you don't know who you're going to hire to replace the contractor who just left, and by the way, you got a pissy email from some, troll on the internet sitting in your inbox. I know what bad days feel like when you're not making the money. I know what bad days feel like when you are making the money. And here's what I know for certain, that if you really want to be a life coach, that if it's actually a thing where you're going, this work does light me up, and I definitely don't want to be in that soul-sucking job, you should not quit. You cannot quit. Seeing this through, not quitting, could change your life. And I'm talking about far more than doing work that you love. It will teach you so much about perseverance. It will teach you so much about who you want to be in the world. It will teach you so much about follow through. This is not just about the work you do in the world. It is about you being powerful and in charge of every single space in your life, including your livelihood. It is about who you want to show up as and how you want to be. It is also not just about you. I had a podcast interview today. Someone was interviewing me for their podcast. Alyssa Cousins, the journal deck, the Self-Care Spotlight. Go check that one out. And I was a little bit feisty with her today. Not with her, but about the topic we happen to be talking about. I got a little soapboxy because just this past week, a friend of mine's son committed suicide. And I'm feeling a little bit feisty right now about the fact that people mock life coaching and personal growth, because we don't mock the lobbyists who are trying to set up environmental policy that is killing our planet. We don't mock the corporate executives who are trying to sell our children more soda that's going to give them diabetes. Why in the world do people mock? Why do they dare? Why do they have the audacity to think that it is okay to mock life coaches who are trying to do something good in the world? It is so ridiculous. There are so many people who are suffering. It is not about the profession in and of itself. It is about the fact that your coaching can change someone's life. It is about the fact that right now, as I am recording this, there is someone somewhere who does not think that their life matters, who does not think that their life is worthy of a voice, who does not feel equipped to stand up and say that social oppression is wrong. There is someone sitting right now who is suffering deeply, and they need help. Why in the world would people mock the fact that people want to help? So I just don't really tolerate that shit anymore, if you really want to know how I think about it. What I know to be true is that I am trying to do work in the world that makes the world a better place. I love doing it, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me doing it. It's not like people who love what they do are somehow getting away with something. You need to do this work. You. Because there aren't too many life coaches, because I might coach a client and not get through to them. You might coach the same client and you are the human being they need to get through to them, to help them. And if you don't believe that in this moment, just think about any advice that you've ever received. I know coaches don't give advice, but let's just go with the example. Any advice you've ever received from multiple people, but you heard it from the right person at the right time and it changed everything. You shouldn't quit. A great question to ask yourself right now, if you are ever considering quitting, would be, if I knew that with enough time and work, this would work out beyond my wildest dreams, would I stay in this game? Would I continue to do this? Answer that question for yourself. If you knew that it was all going to work out the way you wanted it to, would you stay in? If the answer to that is yes, that is the only answer you need. Because the only thing you are missing right now between where you are right now and where you want to be is enough time and something skill set related to marketing. That's it. Are you really going to give up over something related to marketing? Really? You're going to give up on your life's work? You're going to give up on being able to look back at your life at the end of your life and say, I did what I loved with my life over lack of time and needing to fill in a marketing skill set? Because anything marketing can be learned. Anything marketing can be learned. Your willingness to show up and do the work, to hold space for other people, to ask them provocative questions, to help them see themselves in new and different ways, is a skill set that you already have right now, that you will always develop, that you will probably love developing. I mean, I get so much joy out of learning new ways to work with people, don't you? Isn't that why you're listening to the Craft of Coaching podcast? So if the reason you're thinking of quitting right now is about money, then it's, you need to give yourself time. You need to understand that of course you're going to want to feel like quitting. Of course you're going to be outside your comfort zone and go, what the hell am I even doing? Because anything that matters has that quality to it. Think of the last time one of your clients was convinced they couldn't do something. Did you settle for that? Did you believe them and go, oh yeah, you probably can't? No. Because you could see the forest for the trees. You knew that they would survive their pain. You knew that their creative expression mattered. You knew that they needed to have a voice and go out into the world and say something that would change this world for the better. You knew that because you weren't in the midst of their particular fear. You were watching it from the bigger picture. I'm sitting here right now mouthing off on this podcast telling you I know the same thing about you. If you're not making money as a coach right now, you need time and you need to fill in a gap around your marketing skill set. That's it. And you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on some guru promising you that they're going to help you build $1 million business or any of that. Frankly, the best marketing advice I've ever gotten, or marketing help I've ever gotten, have come from 2 different books, each of which is about $20 on Amazon. One is called Business Model Generation. Another is called Value Proposition Design. And if you want something with a little more accountability, that is a little bit more, you're still going to be self-paced, but you have a little bit more of like a module component to it, I have a program called the Coaching Blueprint, which you are welcome to check out at coachingblueprint.com. Anybody who's in the Courageous Living Coach certification gets the program free with the program, with the training program. But anybody who's not in the program, check out coachingblueprint.com. And it's a self-paced program, but each module you check it off as you go, so you can take it a piece at a time. There are worksheets, there are audios. Learn the skill set. The Coaching Blueprint's $175. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to learn everything that you need to know. There is an opportunity. If you are at all considering quitting coaching, there is an opportunity before you right now for you to really ask yourself what there is for you in perseverance. There is an opportunity for you right now to lean into the discomfort of, I don't know what I'm doing. It's up to you to take that opportunity. Again, I'm going to go to a client. If you have ever coached a client, and if you are listening to this considering becoming a coach and you've never coached a client before, try the last time you listened to a friend who didn't believe in themselves and you see so many things about their potential. You have got to be the first person in line who is going to be committed to the bigger picture of what you want. If it was all going to work out exactly the way you wanted it to work out, with enough time and developing some marketing skill set, wow, what would that life be? What can that life be? I gotta tell you, over here, for as hard as it's ever been, no regrets. None. If I were to pass tomorrow, I would be able to say that I did it, living every single day of my life in the direction of creating something I was genuinely proud of, that I believed helped others in the world, that lifted me up, that gave as much as I got, that got as much as I gave. There's no salary in some cubicle somewhere that could make up for what that feels like. And I want that for you, and that's why I'm saying to you right now, you know how you'd answer that question. If I knew it would work out, would I stay in? And if the answer is yes, you should not quit. You should not take a temporary hardship as the prescription for how it's all going to be. You have got to stay in. The world needs you, and you need you.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Before you go, would you help us out and take a moment to give us a rating in iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening? It really helps us get the word out to other listeners. And before you go today, would you like free resources to support your coaching journey? Whether you're considering becoming a coach or you want advanced coach skills training, access our coaching resource library at teamclcc.com. Again, that's teamclcc.com. Can't wait to connect with you. And again, thanks for listening.